Okay, this video is I called Snow Jobs Come in Many Forms. This is about a snowstorm we had last year. Okay, um, but I thought I would include it. This is one of the posts of many that I took down, and I'm putting them back up again after I do a few things and edit them. But read this post carefully, okay? It just got me to thinking. We always prepare for these storms, whether it's a hurricane down south or whether it's a snowstorm. People spend a lot of time preparing. I mean, a lot. And I said an offhanded comment when I walked to that house, like, man, wouldn't it be something if people prepared for the coming of the Lord like this? But then you think, well, how do you do that? Okay, these are all abstract comments that any preachers over the decades have just had a field day with. Okay, and because people aren't reading their Bibles in context and they have no idea what it says from cover to cover, they don't make connections between Daniel and Zechariah and Isaiah and Revelation. They don't make those connections. They think in like single type verses. Okay, they think in like just a single verse says this, and so they spawn off some kind of a theory about what the end times will look like, or what it'll look like, for the return of the Lord. But these days, the signs are everywhere. Okay, it's as clear as a bell. I mean, it reminds me of when Jesus was even born. They should have known. They should have known that because of what the prophet said. Okay. Oh, the wise men knew. They knew. Well, it's the same thing today. We need to be preparing. And how do you do that? We just live our lives for Christ. We live in His will. We accept the good news of the story, of the good news. Okay, and then we live our lives accordingly. Okay, people say, "Are you prepared? Are you ready? Are you ready?" The way we've been talking about it for decades, it sounds like a threat. It comes out like it's some kind of a threat that He's coming back. Are you ready? And if you say, yes, I'm ready, well, for so many people, that's not good enough. If you say, no, I'm not ready, then it turns the Bible into some kind of a book of law. Okay? But prepare for His coming. Be ready for it. Be in the Word. Be in prayer. Be growing. Look around and helping our neighbors. But just be prepared, okay? So that when things start happening in this country, things that we're not familiar with, okay, then we'll be able to tell our children and grandchildren what's going on. This has all been prophesied. It's the way it's going to happen. Persecution is coming to this country. It is coming, okay? And right now there's this rift between the visible church and God's ecclesia. There's a difference. They're not the same thing. Okay? So yeah, this storm just got me to thinking about how people prepare for these things, and yet we're not even preparing for the biggest thing, and that's the Lord's return. We just don't think this way. We just don't. People today are more concerned with getting from one day to the next. That's about as far as their thinking will allow them to go. People are forgetting history. They're forgetting all. They don't understand what's going on. They don't even know about their own history, let alone biblical history. And how do you get people to care? That's a question I'm not sure how to answer. But I do know, stay away from all this. One theory after another theory after another theory. What God's going to do. Right now, the world is changing. And this country is changing. And things are happening. Okay, and it doesn't belong in the spooky kind of conversation that we've been putting them in. It belongs in the context of how God was dealing with the world ever since Adam and Eve. Okay, and if we don't understand His word in context, okay, and start putting these things together, we're never going to be able to interpret these days. But it's as clear as a bell. But once you start talking about it to people, you tend to lose them. But anyway, the storm that I put on this post, it just got me to thinking how people prepare, they believe it's coming, they know it's coming, and so they prepare. And that's what we should be doing with our lives here for Jesus' return. Okay? It's very soon, but until that day, we need to be ready, and just by go to the Word, and everywhere that it says, this is the will of God, okay, it says many times in the Bible, this is the will of God. Well, read what is before that, okay, and do that. That's getting ready. Okay, I'm not perfect in these areas, and so I'm challenging myself as well as anyone to prepare this way. Okay, to be certain that I am in God's will. Okay, and in the meantime, we still have to live life, go to work, pay bills, and do all that. But just be ready. It's not a threat. But it's something that is real, something we should be looking forward to. So, are you ready? Are you ready for the next storm to come? Are you ready for the Lord to come? Talk to you later.